Yes, family, blessed love to each and every one. Oh, give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie the First. Welcome to the Tiger's Nest. The Honorable Priest Isaac here with you. Of course, you know we have a special program this evening. We are going into Heliopolis, the ancient, Anu, the modern, and this will be a special YouTube lecture presentation. It's a joy that you could come and sup with us. We're not going to waste any time this evening. The lecture itself is going to come down with some academics. So for sure, we want you to, get your books and pens and make sure you take your notes, and all the references will be there. And of course, this program is done in association with the upcoming summer solstice virtual experience. Of course, this is the double hike to Green Castlehill and the cannabis tour and lecture. This is virtually now for the international community. We will be definitely speaking a bit more about that as we go through this program here. And at the same time, also brought to you by the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge, international homeschool classes. Of course, you know, we deal with astronomy and African history and heritage. And of course, the book Anu, Ancient and Modern, that will be featured this evening in this presentation. That book can be received by going through Amazon, or you could get it directly from us. So what we will be speaking of this evening is the importance, yes, of Green Castlehill and why it is we speak of the summer solstice and the winter solstice and the spring equinox. But before we go there, and the winter equinox as well, we want to somewhat bring you up to speed with the importance of megalithic sites in general, plus the importance of understanding why their link and alignment to the heavens is key. All of this is Greencastle Hill. This is right here in Antigua. This is Mount Anu. But again, before we delve into the mystics and the depths of this, I want to begin by highlighting other megalithic sites. And even before that, bringing you up to speed with why the movements of the heavens is so important. All right. So we basically have an idea, I'm sure, of how the earth rotates and revolves around the sun. And what this does, it causes the effects that we see. For example, the movement of the stars, for sure, and the rising and the setting of the sun. Very important. Please listen properly as we go through. We're not going to make it too hard. We're not going to make it complicated. But a lot of the points, they're just bullet points, so you may not hear them twice. So I want you to, pay keen attention to what we're saying as we go to the depths of it. Very happy that you're here. So remember, the Earth has its 23.5-degree angle, the axis thereof. So now this creates not only the ecliptic, it creates the pathway that the sun and the moon and even the planets go through. All right, very important. This is in reality what we are looking at. The Earth on its orbit, which creates its elliptic, has a 23-degree angle from the natural elliptic and, of course, the equator of the planet. This is very key, my family. So what happens here? It also creates a 23.5-degree vibration in the apparent heaven. Now, we have to use the term apparent because remember again, it is because of the natural movements of the planet, because of its rotation, because it's revolving, because of its angle as well. This 23.5-degree angle is very important. Because of all of that, it gives you the impression of the theater movement of the heavens. So the seasons, the spring and the autumn and the winter, not just the sun rising and setting, but the sun is rising to the north in June, and then the sun is rising to the south in December. How is all of this taking place? Again, it has to do with the movements, the rotation, obviously, the same earth revolving around, obviously, but keep in mind the angle thereof, because this angle creates once more the ecliptic belt. Yes, we speak about the ecliptic belt, which is the zodiac belt. The zodiac belt is really at a 23.5-degree angle to the celestial equator. So what is the celestial equator? Now, there's no earthly zodiac belt as such, but there's an earthly equator. So in other words, there's a terrestrial equator. Terrestrial means the earth. Terra, that's the name for the earth. Terrestrial, earth. Celestial is the heavens. So things that are celestials in a sense are extraterrestrial. ET, anything outside the terra zone as such, the terrestrial realms is extraterrestrial. Good, please follow me. Now, the equator of the earth, when you superimpose, listen to this, when you superimpose the equator of the earth onto the ceiling of the sky, you get the celestial equator. The ceiling of the sky. I thought they say the sky is the limit. Right, because there's no sky, there's no limit in it. But from where we are, you get this impression as if you're looking at this black background with these dotted lights known as stars. That's how it looks. That's why you get the different pictures, the lion and the woman laying down and the Scorpio. And I specifically call these things because they're very vivid constellations. They're very clear, Orion and clear, as constellations, not just as stars, but as a picture, as a pattern. Orion for sure. You can't tell me that an intelligent being didn't say, let us form the figure of a man in the sky. That is too clear. And it's obvious that Orion is somebody, Sahu, the great constellation, standing with his sword and his shield, for sure. And others. Leo is a very clear one to me. The Scorpio too, very big, large, like a long snake. That's the only thing. It looks like a snake with a kind of Gandhi, you know. But anyway, the point is that the celestial equator really is not really there as such, you know. The celestial equator is also something that is apparent because it is the superimposing now of the terrestrial, the earthly equator. It just goes out and creates this. So this is it. All right, good. So now remember, you also have, this is the ecliptic belt here. You don't see the constellations yet. I will show you them. But this is the ecliptic belt here, also known as the zodiac belt. So up to the north, the most northern constellation of the zodiac belt is what? That's the constellation known as Gemini. The most southern constellation of the ecliptic belt is what? That's the constellation known as Sagittarius, the Archer. All right. And there are two constellations that are in the ecliptic belt, and they are also on the equator of the heavens, and that is Pisces and Virgo. I hope you follow that. And those are the four constellations that react with the sun during the solstices and the equinoxes. So Gemini would be here to the north, and when the sun is in Gemini, it's at its most northern point. After Gemini, it starts to go down again to the south. But when it reaches to the central point after Gemini, it will be in the constellation of Virgo. That is where you have your autumn equinox, equal day and night, you know, good. And that's a spring equinox if you're in the southern hemisphere. And then after that, it goes more south. And then in December the 21st, thereabout, it's in Sagittarius, the most southern constellation. But when it comes up again now, and in March, it becomes into Pisces, it's back again for the second time around here in a year on the equator. On the equator of the heavens. That's where you get your equinox. Okay, bullet points, family. Let's move on. Can't stick on it forever. Now, what is important? Understanding the position of the sun and all stars, you know, and their position as it relates to in the heavens. So you have the azimuth and the altitude. And the azimuth, some of you who may deal with surveying of lands, you may have a good idea of what that is. But when it comes to the astronomical world, it's not just using north, but actually we use the celestial pole, the celestial northern pole, and you basically draw a line from that coming down to the horizon, and then you create a arc. Here it is, an arc, because it has to do with the observer. You know? Everything here has to do with the observer. So it creates an arc that goes around, and then the arc aligns with the altitude of the star. And so from the observer's point of view, it's something like, you know, latitude and longitude coordinates, you know, so you have the altitude of the sun and its azimuth. All of that is very important, but the azimuth of the sun will change. So for example, the azimuth of the sun would be somewhere here, very close to summer, but then the azimuth would keep going down. It'll be here during fall, and then the azimuth will go lower and lower and lower, and it will change and come all the way down to this angle during the time of winter. Depending on where you are on the planet, the altitude as well will change. Same thing with stars. So this science was very important to us as it relates to even aligning stars now with monuments that we are building, because when it comes to the monuments that we're building and the megalithic sites, it's not just astronomy now, and it's obviously not just archaeology. It's actually what people consider a very new science in the academic or academia world, which is archaeoastronomy. But obviously, archaeoastronomy, if that's what it is an extremely old art. So please follow me, family. This is just the introduction. So the buildings now, our ancient buildings, those of you who were with us for the pyramids and Rastafari, if you did not see that lecture, you should go back on our YouTube channel and view it. I know we have one entitled The Pyramids and Rastafari, but that was just a promotional video. That's about 20 minutes. But there's one entitled Is Haile Selassie Related to the Pyramids or something of the sort? We did that about a week ago, a strong ago. So you should check that out if you did not see that video. But the title of the lecture really is Rastafari and the Pyramids. So really, you know, obviously we went into depths in that one as it relates to the pyramids. Those of you who were there would remember even this rendition that King Khufu's King's Chamber as such, the King's Chamber, as you would know. So from time to time, we would speak about the King's Chamber is aligned with the pole star. Okay, now let us understand this before we move on. You see the monuments. The monuments are built. This is deep, eh? The monuments are built, not necessarily to align with stars. They definitely are built to align with the sun. And they are built to align with the key points of the heavens. Wow, wow, wow. Okay. Bullet points, just clarity. Try not to talk too fast because we want to learn tonight, you know. Yeah, we just want to learn. So the Great Pyramid, the King's Chamber was built. This shaft was built to align with the northern celestial pole. It was built to align with the northern celestial pole. Now, when it was built, it was aligned to the pole star Thuban. Now, the pyramid is not aligned to the pole star Thuban anymore, like right now. The pyramid is still aligned to the northern celestial pole, but it's not aligned to the pole star Thuban. Because the pole star Thuban, this is about, 5,000 years ago or so, the pole star Thuban, pardon me, has already moved out of the northern celestial pole and has been replaced by the pole star Polaris. Follow me good. So why did that? How did that happen? Because again, the movements of the heavens. The movement of the heavens has to do with the movement of the planet Earth. Number one, the 23.5-degree angle. Number two, you got to keep in mind the rotation and of course it revolving around the sun. But what is most important as it relates to the movement of pole stars, etc., is something that is known as the precession of the equinoxes. Some people don't like to put the term equinoxes in it and just call it the precession. What happens at the precession? The earth creates somewhat of a wobble, and the 23.5-degree angle would spin around as such. So what happens now? This is where the pole star is. So the pole star would change as the ages change. Very important, family. The ages do change. So for example, what determines an age? Where the sun is on the 21st day of March, that determines the age. So if the sun is in the constellation of Pisces on the 21st day of March, that's the age we are in. We are in the Pisces age. If the sun is in, let's just say, Scorpio on the 21st day of March, we are in the Scorpion age. If the sun is in Gemini on the 21st day of March, we are in the Gemini age. Now, our age doesn't change every year. Our age is going to take between 2,000 to 3,000 years to properly change over to another year. To properly change over to another year. You understand? So understanding the astronomical clock is very important because the sun moves 1 degree every 72 years. All of that is very key. And that will bring you to the 2,160-year period from one constellation power to another constellation power. So we are currently in the Pisces age. And we are feeding off of a lot of the Aquarius age's energy. We are not totally in the Aquarius age. In fact, we're still feeding off of more Pisces energy than the Aquarius energy. Many people will tell you otherwise. But are these people astronomers? Can they understand where the sun is when it counts on the 21st day of March? It's still in Pisces. It's coming out, but it's still feeding off of the majority of the energy of Pisces. We have done a whole video on that. You should check it out if you are interested in that knowledge. It's are we still in the Aquarius? Are we in the Aquarius age? Something of the sort, but you will find it. So the age will change. You understand? So if something is aligned, if you have a monument aligned to the sun on the 21st day of March, and the sun is in Pisces, that means Pisces is aligned with the monument as well. But in the next 2,000 years, in the Aquarius age, on the 21st day of March, the same sun will be aligned with the same monument, but the constellation that aligned with the monument will no longer be Pisces, it will be Aquarius, because the background is changing. The background of the stars are changing, but the sun is in a fixed position. And the same thing with the points of the heavens, for example, the poles. So this is why the northern celestial pole doesn't change, but the stars around it will shift from time to time. Not even time to time, it's a constant shift because the heavens constantly moves. It's like the hands of a clock. It's just moving and it's not stopping. So what you have here, these are circumpolar stars. The stars that you have close to the northern pole, these are called circumpolar stars. In fact, the whole circumpolar star concept is one of the key points that will definitely disprove the whole, you know, flat earth theory. Not that we're coming down on anyone that thinks of it like that, you know, so you don't have to be upset at all. But you would recall, since we deal with a lot of, you know, astronomy, etc., several years ago, a lot of people were always on us like, oh, the earth is flat, stop teaching this and teaching that and all of this thing. So we were not necessarily flat earth experts. I always respected the argument. You know, I'm not vexed with nobody for being a flat earth thinker. People vex with you when you say you don't follow that. I don't understand that theory at all. But you know, since we deal with astronomy, obviously, we used astronomy to prove that okay, something wrong here. Because on a flat earth, and we have done this already, we have expressed this on the flat earth theory, it's impossible to get circumpolar constellations. It can't happen. Remember, circumpolar constellations, they do not rise nor set. They just spin around all day and all night because they're very close to the pole. Now remember, no stars close to no pole. You know? These stars are not even close to each other. It's just space going out. But from where we are and the rotation, we just get this impression as if we're inside of this big ball with these dotted lights on the ceiling that gives us these pictures, and stars that go around the pole, and the further away from the pole, the greater their circle. So in other words, stars on the equator, like Orion, would rise and set. But stars close to the pole, like Thuban, would just go around. Cassiopeia would just go around all day and all night. She don't rise, she don't set. The Big Dipper, all day and all night. They don't rise, they don't set. But stars like, or constellations like Virgo and the same Pisces, which are on the equator, they rise and they set. This is very, very important. So I'm saying all of that with understanding the position, again, the azimuth, and of course the altitude. We had to take all of this into consideration when we align the pyramid, not necessarily with Thuban. This is the point. We align the pyramid with the northern celestial pole, because due to the precession of the equinox, Thuban will move and Polaris will come into his place. It's going to take a while, maybe at least 3,000 years, and Polaris will come into his place and be the northern celestial pole star, and then Polaris will align with the king's chamber. You understand? All of this is key. All right, good. Now, saying all that to say, and I know we kind of went through that quickly, but we didn't want to stay too long on that aspect. You could even listen to that part over again because it's going to come in very important here. Now we're looking at, where are we? This is Karnak. Not Karnak in Kemet. This is in Brittany. So we're dealing with Europe now. This Karnak is spelled with C's, not K. And these are freestanding stones known as menhirs. These are megaliths as well. And they also have their own play as it relates to the sun and the rising thereof. Now, this is the great Stonehenge. And when it comes to archaeology as it and its relation to astronomy, which again is a whole science now, archaeoastronomy, Stonehenge is usually the place where everyone begins. It's the most promoted, you know. Even in Antigua here, Great Castlehill is referred to as the Stonehenge of the Caribbean. All right. So you observe again the freestanding stones, and they are in a henge formation. This is really what a henge really is. A henge is really like a circular formation. And it's designed in such a way, this is how it used to look. The henge, the stone structure, the standing stones, this is how it's looking now. You have the standing stones with the horizontals on top, the lintels as such. And then you see this the shadow, which comes from the rising or the setting sun, depending on what time of year it is. Because now the way that Stonehenge is built, it's aligned with the solstices, which is the spring and the equinoxes and the solstices, everything. The spring equinox, the fall equinox, the solstice of the summer and the solstice of the winter. But like many other monuments, listen to this. The monument is not necessarily designed to align with the sunrise of the solstice of the summer and the sunset of the same. No, because of maybe their latitude on the planet. For example, like a place like Stonehenge now, who is all the way up there in England in the sense of latitude, going way up in the north, outside of the tropics there. So you would find that Stonehenge is built, for example, to align with the rise of the summer solstice and the sunset of the winter solstice. You follow that? Okay, good. Mystically because of the latitude. So all of this has to be taken into consideration as you are the builder. So this is one angle, and you could see the other angle here, the rising or the setting of the sun now, and you could see the shadows falling on the background. So what this creates now from the ground view is a spectacle with the sun, whether it be rising or setting, coming through the doorways that has been created, the pathways that has been created. Some would say the stargates that has been created by the men here, these megaliths that has been erected here at Stonehenge. All right. So basically, that is why individuals will flock to these places during the time of the solstice and the equinoxes, so that they could bask in the alignments that have been created. These are created alignments. These were put together. So then you're gone into history now. People will tell you this is the Northern Neolithic age, and you know, these individuals of that time would have put these together. Then you have a next level where people are going to start to tell you about aliens and all of these different things. Well, this is not an alien here. Or he's, I don't even want to laugh. But anyway, this is us here at Stonehenge in England, the very same Stonehenge at Salisbury, and observing the alignment of that time, just blessing up the one honorable prophet Mosai, bless up the one honorable prophet Newton as well. You see us there with the gloves on hand, chilly, isn't it? Yeah, so that's that. So giving an understanding of Stonehenge, and then now this is Newgrange, pardon me, still in Europe now. This is Newgrange. This is also a monument said to be a temple that is some 5,000 years old. Now, the way this is set up, this is in Ireland, pardon me. This is in Ireland, by the way. And the way this is set up, this is just one of two others. You have a three, pardon me. You have North and North and Newgrange itself. And they all built to astronomically align, for sure, with the sun, moon, and stars, as well as planets. But what can be proven thus far is the winter solstice sunrise as it relates to Newgrange. If you observe this pathway here, this is where the light of the sun would come through on the winter solstice sunrise. Very, very, not the summer solstice sunrise, the winter solstice sunrise, and again, not the sunset. Now that's interesting, you know, because listen to me good. Not because it aligns with the summer solstice means it aligns with the winter solstice. But if it aligns with the spring equinox, it's supposed to align with the winter equinox, specifically depending especially where you are. A lot of these key alignments will take place in the tropics as well, you know, for sure. Now, that is why on the you will find the azimuth and the altitude of our key star, the sun, would be the same on the equinoxes. You understand, depending on where the observer is. All right. So the light now of the sun on the equinox, no, the solstice of the winter morning. Do you remember all of these key things, eh? Good. Would come through the same pathway here. If you notice, it has a lot of spiral. Let me show you this too. It has a lot of designs around the side, eh? And different sort of writings and drawings and spiral formation. Very, very important. Now, again, it has two pathways. There's a doorway and a window. In fact, I think the window was unearthed or discovered like about a couple centuries ago, in the sense that, you know, it wasn't occupied, it wasn't used for thousands of years. And what they noticed is that when the light comes through the door, it doesn't go all the way back to maybe the room you'd consider the holiest of holies. But when the light comes through now, and this is on the winter solstice, sun morning rising, when the light comes through the window box now, it goes all the way back to the holiest of holies. So you see it here now, the sun coming up in the morning. So I'm very close to the temple though. But anyway, the light coming through the window. I guess this would be the door, but the light would have hit somewhere here. But when it comes through the window, it goes all the way to the back. And also this is looking at it from the inside actually. And you could see the angle of the light hitting down. It wouldn't reach all the way back there, but you could see the angle of the window, which again would carry it to the room that, you know, would be considered the holy room, the room of the high priest, and where the higher and the feet would really show itself. That is the connection of the astronomical movements and the megalithic site. All right. Now this is another example of that very same sort of vibration with the light coming through the temple. Now, those of you who were with us, I think it's Saturday evening, we did the lecture, The Mystery of the Ark. Now, remember, if you didn't see The Mystery of the Ark, because this is like a continuation of The Mystery of the Ark, you know, in a sense, we started with the pyramid and Rastafari. Again, if you didn't see that, that's right here on YouTube. You could just go and check my YouTube channel, Priest Isaac's YouTube channel. Just about 7 days or so ago, I think we did that. And then we did an online lecture, a webinar lecture, which was the mystery of the ark, where we touched a bit upon what I'm going to talk about now. So it just kind of came to mind. And I'm saying that if you missed that one, you should see that one as well. You should be a part of that as well. It's still there. It won't be live, but that's the goodness of the webinar. Live, and you know, we interact, but it won't be live, but it's still there. It's a 2-hour lecture, you know what I'm saying? And you should be a part of that, you know, to give you a better understanding of the levels that we are carrying it to. So if you want to still see the mystery of the ark, it's not late. You can still email me. You know the email, precise27@gmail.com. And we will give you the pass. So you could just press the pass and you go and see the lecture. And you can still make your payments using the Cash App or any other money transfer, you know, payment procedure that pleases you. So now at Abu Simbel, what I was saying about the lecture with the ark though, I was highlighting Karnak. And through the time frame and everything, I skipped over Abu Simbel. But I still was showing something that took place in Abu Simbel. And I think I somewhat mixed it up with the Karnak, because the Karnak temple really is, it shows you exactly what they would want to highlight as even how Solomon built his temple. And we were showing you that on the lecture, the mystery of the ark. So you should check it out. But anyway, let's just stick to this and keep to our timing. So at the great Abu Simbel itself, we have the temple at Abu Simbel. And the same way as we were looking a moment ago at the temple there in Ireland, this is the same way that the sun comes down this temple and illuminates the holiest of holies, where you have statues in there of Ptah and Sokar and the king Ramesses II plus Amun-Ra. Now this alignment, interestingly, is not on any solstice nor equinox. This alignment is on the 20th, 21st to the 23rd, somewhere there about February, and the same dates in October, 20th, 21st, 22nd, 23rd of October. The light of the sun comes down the hall and illuminates the back room. And what happens, this is Ptah, this is Amun-Ra, this is the king Ramesses. Remember, he's not a god, he's just a king, but them is gods, them is not king. You have Ptah, the deity, the Neter, Amun-Ra, the Neter, and you have Ra Herokote, then Eter, and in between Ra Herokote and Amun-Ra, you have Ramesses, the king, the Nesut. Now, one will say, oh, the Nesut Beti, because it's the rule of the two lands. So now one would say, well, you know, okay, interesting, because history says Ramesses had himself as a god, you know. And what happens here now, this is like early days, because the light doesn't start here. The light starts right here, and then it will move as the days go across. And then maybe the last day or so, you get the full 3, and then it moves off. But the sun never hits Ptah. It only hits these 3. And my interpretation of it is that Ramesses, who is the only human amongst them, because these are the gods as such, Ramesses is telling you, well, he is a god, and not only he's a god, he's Ptah. That's why the light now hit Ptah. Ptah is in the room, but the light hit Ramesses as he represents that Trinity there. That's how I see this here. That's just my own interpretation. I'm going to do a whole program on it sooner or later where I go into it in depth. Even then, toes look mystically different. But anyway, go more into it. But the point we're dealing with here for the moment is the alignment with the sun and the temple, and how the ancient ones saw that it was very important. All right, let's move on quickly because we didn't want to stay too long on this. We are here now at the temple, this one, Chichen Itza. This temple is called Castlehill, and you have the temple of the sun up here. This one is definitely an equinox alignment, and the equinox alignment is seen specifically from a specific temple that is just across, I think it's about 22 degrees, somewhere between 17 or 22 degrees from the axis of this temple. So in other words, from this side, it has been designed from this side to see the specific alignment that falls on the temple here, Castlehill, which is again at Chichen Itza. We are talking about the ancient Mayan kingdom. We are talking about Central America, Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico, Belize, Honduras, these different places there. This is where the Mayan had their stronghold. And this is one of the outstanding temple. All right. Now, what happens here, depending on the angle again, you're observing one of the stairways. There are 4 stairways, but one of the stairways has the head of the snake. So you see it on this one from this angle, the head of the snake and the head of the snake. So what happens now, as I said, from specific viewpoints, on the 21st day of March, on the spring equinox and the fall equinox, what happens? And we're right in the tropics here for sure. You get a glaring look of what may appear to be a serpent now coming down the stairway, you know, the head illuminated, creating like a snake coming down the stairway. And of course, you understand the science that the snake is very important in the Mayan tradition. It's really the deity known as Kulkukan or Quetzalcoatl. And this is the impression you get here during the time of the equinox. It's like it's highlighting. This is about 5 o'clock in the afternoon with the setting of the sun for the spring equinox, where you get this rendition of Kulkukan appearing, coming down the pyramid. And the same thing also with Kariakol. This is also within the same area of Chichen Itza. And its alignment is also, as you can see, it looks like some sort of astronomical observatory. And you could see even with the setting there, the winter solstice, sunset, summer solstice, sunrise, summer solstice, setting, northern Venus setting, all of these things, very important, even when you check the calendar of these people as well. Machu Picchu now, and we're going to look to wrap up here. Machu Picchu has its own alignment as well. Even with the summer solstice, you see this window has been designed to actually, if you want to say, accommodate the gleaming sun as it rises over the hill on the exact date of the solstice. All right, same thing can be seen in Angkor Wat and Angkor Thom as well. There are many alignments in Angkor when it comes to the equinoxes and the solstices as well. Really too numerous to mention. That's the city, and that's it there when you look again at the alignment of the equinox coming directly dealing with it. And again, you'll get it from different angles, solstices, creating a crown even upon Angkor. So that's really giving you an idea internationally, of how the sun and the movements of the sun and the movements of the stars align with the not just megalithic sites but archaeological sites that have been created. And this is why, again, even as I said, this program here is also brought to you by our international homeschool cosmic classes. And a lot of what you just saw us go through there are things that we pride ourselves on as we teach the young ones the importance of the heavens. Of course, we just ran through that a moment ago, but our classes is not a run through thing at all. In fact, our classes are sent out every day, every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, specifically weekday, maybe I should say. And the classes are in video form, very short, somewhere between 20-25 minutes per class. And the classes specifically directly are astronomy and African heritage. And I'm telling you, the more I look at this, although these classes were created for young children, the more I look at this is a class for everybody. You don't have to have no children. You should invest in your own self to really have a good comprehension of how the heavens move and how the astronomical clock functions. And that would assist you with even understanding the vast wealth of information that's there when it comes to the African heritage and how it deals with astronomy. So the Dogons and how they dealt with the star series, you'll have a better understanding of that, and why the ancient Kemetic ones revered, Orion or Sahu, and how they connected it to Asa, which is Osiris. You'll have a better understanding of that as well. So we're definitely encouraging you. Remember, more than 160 classes that you would receive over a period of 10 months, definitely for the young ones. And as I said, our scholars, that's what we call the children, our scholars, even surprise their parents with the material that they retain. So definitely you should be a part of it. I could send you this brochure, just email us and we send you this brochure. There's a link to an online webinar that we did that you will definitely full joy, giving you more information on exactly what it is that we offer in the international homeschool cosmic classes. Definitely it will be something to enrich your young ones. Even our African heritage aspect of it, if you really want your child to have a strong appreciation for their African heritage, I would advise that you definitely enroll them in the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge International Home School classes. All right. Now, let us come a little closer as such to home. Green Castlehill. Okay, well, for sure, this is the island of Antigua. This is where we are at the moment, somewhere around here in Antigua. This is in the Northeast Caribbean. This is where I was born specifically. And this is just a piece of, obviously, just a shot. Where are we going here? Going up to the Eternal City. That's the name of this area here. Green Castlehill. You notice the megaliths there sticking out. Or this is how the hill stays. This is not the hill here. This is just a little mound on the hill. The hill has several mounds. This is not even halfway up the hill, but from this little angle here, you could see the amount of megaliths that stand out here on Green Castlehill, definitely covered with grass, but the megaliths are there. Now, first of all, let me say, these megaliths here on Green Castlehill, they're not menhirs. Students, can you remember what menhirs are? Because they're different type of megalithic sites, you know. Obviously, these are built, you can see that. You have megalithic site pyramids. I mean, you have temples, different megalithic sites. You have different types of temples, simple alignment temples, you know, standing stone temples and henges, because a henge, as I showed you, is like a circle of stones. A henge is a circle of stones. So when they refer to Green Castle Hill as the stone henge of the Caribbean, we understand why they're saying that, but technically they're wrong, because Green Castle Hill is not a henge. Green Castle Hill is countless of rocks. Now you see, like you have here, this is in Carnac in Brittany there. This is the very same way, or a similar way, that Green Castle Hill is aligned or is set up. But you can look at these and see that they were set up like they were definitely put in arrayment. That is why archaeologists would come to Green Castle Hill and believe that the stones on Green Castle Hill were put in alignment as well. All right, you could see that these were really put down and they look nice, but not so with Green Castle Hill. These may be menhirs, which are freestanding stones, but with Green Castle Hill, we're talking about megaliths that are protruded out of the earth. This is the point here. These stones you're looking at here were not placed there. They're literally growing out of the earth. And we can prove this and have proven this over and over again, because remember now, this hill is being destroyed. They're mashing up Green Castle Hill. You didn't know that? Oh yeah, man, they're breaking it down. Since 1963, they've been trying to demolish it. It's almost halfway gone. And when you go on the broken side, you can see the stones coming from the core of the earth, but we will show you more about that in a moment. So Green Castle Hill now, as I said, specifically in the island of Antigua, around this area here, Green Castle Hill, this is basically the mountain area of the island, the Sherkley Mountains, and Green Castle Hill is just a bit off of the Sherkley Mountains. A very like the little hill amongst the great mountains as such. Green Castle Hill, I'm telling you, and unique in the sense that it's the only area that has such a strong concentration of these volcanic rocks on the island. In fact, volcanic rocks on the island is something very unique to Green Castle Hill, because the island itself has never been considered, you know, to be a volcanic. So as I'm saying to you now, the hill is littered with these rocks that just protrude out of the earth. And these rocks that protrude out of the earth have a natural alignment with all the dates I just called. Listen to this. Green Castle Hill has an alignment with the sunrise of the summer solstice, with the sunset of the summer solstice, with the sunrise of the spring and fall equinox, with the sunset of the spring and fall equinox, with the sunrise of the winter solstice, with the sunset of the winter solstice. They have the 5th of May. You have all these key days, the 21st day of April, the 25th day of May, the days we just spoke of a moment ago, from the 20th to the 23rd of February, the 20th to the 23rd of October. All of these days, every single day, every single moment, there's a natural alignment with the megaliths that are on Green Castle Hill. It's just natural. So you can see now these megaliths that literally, these steelers coming out of the earth. You can see the sunrise. This is coming over the hill. These are a cluster of rocks that stand between the vulva and the phallic stone. The vulva represents the female reproductive organ. And you could see now, even this is going up the hill, and the vulva is aligned with the rising of the sun and connected to the phallic stone during the time of the equinoxes. Here it is. Now, let me show you something, my brothers and sisters. In fact, before I show you that something, let me show you something else before I go that far. what I want to, oh, pardon me for that. I just want to read something for you here. This is taken from, I hope everyone is okay. This is taken from semanticscholars.org. And it's headlined here, "The Possible Influence of Astronomy on the Culture of Ceramic Age Pre-Columbian Inhabitants of Green Castle Hill, Antigua." This is from Sister Maura Imbert, and Maura Imbert is the individual that is celebrated as the archaeoastronomer that has done the study on Green Castle Hill to give us the official understanding of its alignment with specific stars. And she says here, published in 2010, when Columbus arrived in the West Indies in 1492, it is reported that the Antillean Islands were inhabited by an Amerindian culture called the Tayanos. The Tayano culture was chronicled extensively by Spanish historians, but little or no information was available about their astronomical knowledge. Archaeological and mythological evidence has shown that this was extensive. Sebastian Rebio Lamarche in 1984, who has intensively researched Taino astronomy, has shown that there is a relationship between the Taino and Mesoamerican cultures concerning certain deities and related cultural practices. These are the people we were just looking at in Chichen Itza, Yucatan, Peru, etc. And the Peru is Inca people, by the way. I didn't highlight that, but that's Mesoamerican. Good. And it's showing you that the Indians that were in the Caribbean too, the Tayanos and so forth, also would have had similar belief, I would expect. An archaeological excavation of the summit of Green Castle Hill on the island of Antigua indicated that Green Castle Hill was inhabited by a ceramic age Amerindian presence during the period of AD 900 1200. That's just the other day. Them stones have been there for tens of thousands of years. Remember, they're coming out of the earth, so it takes time to grow. Geology we're talking about now. So whoever was here 500 years ago, give thanks. There are people here now that go up there and drop chips paper and potato chips wrapping, you know. So if we go and find that now, that doesn't mean that they're the ones that really put it together. So even though we find evidence of people there 900 years ago, that's good. But these stones have been there for tens of thousands of years at least, maybe even hundreds of thousands, because it's geology we're dealing with now, you know. Remember, these are not stones that were put there. These are stones that are coming out of the earth. This makes Green Castle Hill unique to almost anywhere else on this planet. So she says, this is the astroarchaeologist. Artifacts recovered during this excavation were typical of the terminal to post-Saladioid culture affiliation classified by Caribbean archaeologists as Marmorian Tromasoid. And this is read 2009. By AD 1200, the Marmorian culture in the Leeward Islands had become so influenced by the Ostionoid culture in Puerto Rico to the east that they came to be classified by some archaeologists as East Taino. Okay. An array of stones on the summit of Green Castle Hill has recently been investigated to determine whether it could have been an astronomical calendar. This is from the same Maura Imbert, 2007. When the bearings of the stones in the array were compared with the azimuth, again, see, the azimuth of stars known to have been of importance in Amerindian culture, the correlation strongly suggests that the array was used to determine time. The results of this investigation suggest a parallel investigation of how astronomy affected the life ways of the culture group that inhabited Green Castle Hill, including their social life, religious ceremonies, navigation, agricultural activities, and their time reckoning of important seasonal events. The result of this investigation are presented in this paper, and you can definitely go and check it in detail. Now, let me just show you this. This is her, Mara Imbert, and this is the vulva stone I was just showing here. Now, the vulva represents the female reproductive system. The female reproductive system, the V represents the V, like Venus is the female planet, and Virgo, the female constellation, the virgin, the virtuous woman. The V, you know, is very symbolic of the woman. And here you have the phallic stone itself. If you notice in the background, you see the pyramids. These are mountains, but they appear like pyramids. Okay, fair enough. Now, this is the same Mara Imber. And she, in her report, says that this stone, the phallic stone, has a correlated alignment with the Little Dipper on the 21st day of March. This is from her account. This is Mara Imbert, and she's saying again that the phallic stone, this is the male reproductive system. All of this is on Green Castle Hill, which aligns with the female reproductive system, the female organ, because this phallic here is way up here, past all here, but it has an alignment with this, specifically during the same time, and the alignment will carry you even to these mountains that are way behind. I'm telling you, Green Castle Hill is a living monument as such. All right, so this is the very same phallic stone, vulva, pardon me. Definitely looking a bit more cheeky and happy here, I must say. And the rising of the sun in its glee. And the alignment is that with the phallic stone. This is the very same phallic stone you saw Mara Imbert around. That was about 2007 thereabout. The hill was scorched at that time because the hill changes its facial expression every now and again. Sometimes it's filled with fever grass or lemongrass, and then the other time it's scorched, fire burn it, and it's crisp, you know. So here you have the phallic stone, the gigantic resurrected penis. I always say this is the penis of Osiris, because remember they lost the penis of Osiris, or you could say it's the penis of Geb, because it's literally coming out of the earth, and that is right here in Green Castle Hill. Keep in mind, this is not something placed there. None of these were just placed there. You see the Honorable Rastafari coming through the very same vulva. That's the vulva there. So he's coming from this angle and coming through the vulva. So you come in the womb and still come out the womb. It's a deep science taking place here. That is why we invite people to come to Green Castle Hill during the equinox, during the solstices. I hope that you would be with us for the winter solstice, because whether they're opening borders or not, we opening it. Yeah, but honestly, we expect by that time that their restrictions would be a bit more, you know, balanced, that we could invite you again to come. This is an experience you would love. Hey, listen, if you come to Antigua just to come to Green Castle Hill alone, it will be worth it. But of course, you know, we always have a big event around the spring and the equinoxes and the solstices, like a 7-day event, a morning hike, which is necessary, because in the morning hike, you're getting the morning uprising. You're seeing where the sun aligns with all these rocks. Remember, it's not 1, 2, 3 rocks, and it's countless of rocks, you know, so you get the morning hike and you get the evening hike when we watch the sunset going down behind them same pyramids. You understand? Don't go nowhere, you know. I hope you don't feel like the plane landed. We have more to touch. This is a serious vibration. So give thanks. This is not the phallic stone, but there are many, you know, standing stones. Obviously, there are many of these megaliths that stand out. Give thanks for Whoosh Sanctified at the same time, Brother Coyote Rasto. So you get a better view here as well of the pyramids. Now, listen, don't go anywhere. This is important. I have to share this with you now. Now, this is the book Anu. Ancient and Modern. I don't know if you have a copy. For sure, if you are a subscriber to the Shock of the Hour radio program, you should have a copy of Anu, Ancient and Modern. So if you're a subscriber to the Shock of the Hour radio program, and for some reason you don't have a copy of our ebook, Anu, Ancient and Modern, well, I don't know, something is not too clear. All right. So just contact me as a subscriber and say, please, I don't have the book, or even if you lost the book or something happened to the book, believe me, I would replace the book. Because once you are a subscriber to the Shock of the Hour radio program, you're supposed to have all our books and all our documentaries, all our lectures. You could definitely be a part of. All right, so this is the book, Anu, Ancient and Modern. There's something I'm looking for here to read for you. All right, let me not read it, man. I know exactly what it's about. Let me just talk it. All right, so what we have here. So the book begins by highlighting this book is Anu, again, Ancient and Modern. In the book, we speak about Green Castlehill, and we speak about the spirit of Antigua, really. We don't separate Green Castlehill from the island, because the island itself stands out as a mystic little spot, which really explains why Green Castlehill now is pronounced. So what we have here, we have the alignment of the River Nile. Now, of course, the River Nile has always been considered the Milky Way. The Milky Way appears to be a river of milk running through the heavens. Now, the Milky Way is not a river of milk, but the Milky Way appears to be a river of milk running through the heavens. Very good. Now, if you notice, the Milky Way is aligned with the River Nile, and this is something not coming from us. This is not no Rastafari theory. This is actually coming from reality. The River Nile aligns with the Milky Way. Now, the Milky Way itself, that's why it's called the River Nile. Let me read this here for you. This is in my book here. There's a specific city which takes its position on the northeastern section of the chain of cities dotted along the River Nile. This city is known historically as Heliopolis, a Greek name, which literally means city of the sun. Heliopolis was also referred to as the city of the priests, for the priestly order and principle of Kemet had its foundation in Heliopolis. At the appointed time, priests and king, the nobleman, and Africa in general would come to worship at the temple of Ra during the time of the Jubilee celebration and the Feast of the Tabernacle. Heliopolis we're talking about. Heliopolis is also accredited with originating the first calendar to be used in Kemet, the very same calendar which has been studied, duplicated, and modified by the other nations of the world to suit themselves. It is said that the eyes of Ra are upon Heliopolis. Ra is represented by the sun, not sun worship. The eyes of Ra are represented by the deity known as Sekhmet, represented by a lioness. She is known to destroy the enemies of Ra by spitting hot fireballs on them, and she would only cease with the invention of the merciful Ra. There are 365 temples built to Sekhmet in Heliopolis, which is equivalent to the 365 days in the sun annual cycle. Let's keep the number 365 in mind. And I must say, the temples of Sekhmet, we should say there are 365 temples that were. If you know history, Heliopolis was one of the most ravaged cities in Egypt, to the point that there is only one obelisk standing in Heliopolis today. Can you imagine that? But then again, we have the phallic here. That's what it's symbolic of. But anyway, inscribed on the walls of the temple of Heliopolis is the legend of the deity Anu, who it is said left the highlands of Ethiopia and established the city of Heliopolis, which is named after himself. Anu, understand? Anu or On is a more ancient name for Heliopolis. It was in 331 BC, with the invasion of the Greeks, that Anu, the city of the sun, the city of the priest, became Heliopolis. Are you following that, family? Okay, you could get the book for real, eh? The book, you could get it on Amazon, or you could get it from myself. You understand? You could get it from me. I prefer when you get these books from me. You understand? And for sure, when you buy all 3 books that are available now, which is this book, A New Ancient and Modern, The True Biblical Land of Israel, plus The Heavens Declare the Glory, Rastafari and the Cosmos, you get a special price for all 3, which is only $50 for the 3 together. Each book is $20, but if you buy the 3, you get it for only $50. Plus, you get a free month of the Shock of the Hour radio program, which which by good faith might extend to more than a month, a free month, eh? Yeah, but it's up to you. Or as I said, you could use Amazon, Priest Isaac, Anu, and you could get it there. Okay, right now I'm not going to read anymore. So this is where Heliopolis is, the city of the sun. Heliopolis is called the city of the priests. Heliopolis is seen, the symbol of Heliopolis, you know, you have some ancient symbols here, is the sun and everything thereof. Okay. And the city of the priests, because the priests would come there and they were initiated there. I think you all know this history. All right, interesting. Now, what we're looking at here is that when you observe the city of Heliopolis or the River Nile and the alignment of the River Nile, keeping in mind that we just explained that the River Nile has a similar alignment to the Milky Way. So it's nothing weird I'm showing you here. This is just natural. The River Nile to a specific point, let me be clear, to a specific point, don't go run for the whole River Nile now, to a specific point, interestingly, has a similar bend as that of the Caribbean island chain, again, to a specific point, specifically starting from St. Martin thereabout, and you come down, is very similar to this northern section of the River Nile, that which is in Kemet. All right. Now, what is also interesting is that on the northeastern section of the River Nile is where you have Heliopolis. And on the northeastern section of the Caribbean island chain is where you have Antigua. All right, this is something that I noticed years ago. This is no secondhand story. This is one of the many, many mystics that Haile Selassie has blessed us to understand and unravel. It's the power of Jah. Straight up, gotta give Jah praises. We ain't giving ourselves praises, and we giving Jah praises. Yeah, is Jah unravel these things and bring them to I not unravel, is Jah unravel them and unravel them. Yeah, but anyway, at first a person may look at it and you just making up your own thing, but I tell you, the links are off the chain. You see, first of all, Antigua is a very mystic place. Just the name alone, Santa Maria de la Antigua. That's the name of a church. In fact, that's the name of a very sacred and holy church, considered to be one of the, if not the most holiest churches in Spain, Santa Maria de la Antigua. Now, Santa Maria de la Antigua specifically was the name given to it by Columbus because it was considered so holy. In fact, when he came around here, he didn't step foot on the land. That alone should tell you something. So giving it such a name, obviously there must be something, and he's a fella that talks about seeing UFOs in the sky and all of that. I'm talking about Christopher Columbus there. All right. Now, the island Antigua is referred to as Sun City. Just like Heliopolis is the city of the sun, Antigua is called Sun City. In fact, interestingly, Antigua, just like Heliopolis, carries a sun in its symbol, carries the sun in its flag. You understand? And Antigua, interestingly too, has a brand with the 365. because 365 is the number given to the amount of beaches that Antigua has. In fact, they use it and sell it even in the tourist world. Come to Antigua, where you can enjoy 365 beaches. You have a beach for every day in the year. You understand? So they sell that. But the point is that it having 365 beaches, 365 is really the sun. And this is us checking this, 365 is the sun. It's the cycle of the sun. It's the solar year. Just like they had 365 temples in Heliopolis, of which they destroyed. But Heliopolis also is the city of the sun. It's Sun City. Antigua is the city of the sun. It's Sun City. Heliopolis was the city of the priests. Antigua was referred to as the city of the priests, or the island of the priests. And for obvious reasons, Castlehill, for obvious reason, the place where the monument is the altar of the sun. Castlehill is known as the altar of the sun. So the place where the altar of the sun is, this is where the Tainos, as they said, the Arawaks and Caribs as well, the Mayas and the Incas as well, the Aztecs and the Mystics as well, and those before them, the Olmecs as well. They have Olmec sculptures on the hill at Castlehill, natural sculptures from as if it's weathering that brought these facial features out of the Olmec right on Castlehill. So it is definitely a monument that has been used in the same way that is used by us now. It has been used over the centuries, not even centuries, millennia, by different ones from Africa, which have come. The same Nesuts and Pharaohs, as you call them, would have come over on their backs and would have performed ceremonial rites right here on this little island. Among the megaliths that have been there for a long time. These megaliths would have inspired many other megalithic sites because they are, you can't date them to yesterday, not even 5,000 years ago. It's going to take them much longer to grow that big. Yeah. So this city of the priests, I'm talking about Antigua now, the island of the priests, pardon me, Sun City. As I said, where it lies on the Caribbean island chain is similar to where Heliopolis lies on the River Nile. And both River Nile and Caribbean island chain have a specific similarity, just like the River Nile has a similarity with the Milky Way, can run from it. And the similarity with Heliopolis and Antigua are very close. Both seen as the city of the sun, both seen as the city of the priest. Interesting, both seen with the 365, which again is the cycle of the sun. Both has the sun in their emblems as what represents them. And what makes it more interesting, as we said earlier, the city of Heliopolis is a Greek word. Just like Santa Maria de la Antigua, which means the ancient church of St. Mary. St. Mary of the ancient. Antigua means ancient. Antigua, Antigala, antique, Antigua. Yeah, it means ancient. So the both of them have names that don't really belong to them. But what is interesting is that Antigua, Heliopolis in Kemet, the city of the sun, Heliopolis, sun city. Helio is sun, Opolis is city. The original name for Heliopolis was the city of Anu. Who? The city of Anu, the god Anu, A-N-U, Anu. Now the port abbreviation for Antigua, those of you who will be traveling, coming to Antigua in December, the port abbreviation for Antigua is Anu, A-N-U. If you take Tiga, like tiger, Tiga, out of Antigua, it's left with A-N-U, A-N-T-I-G-U-A, take T-I-G-A out, Tiga. It leaves with A-N-U. The port abbreviation or abbreviation for Antigua is Anu. So the 365, look at here, Heliopolis by definition means the city of the sun and is represented by a sun disk in its hieroglyphic symbol. Antigua in the Caribbean is referred to as Sun City and is the only flag in the region to be represented by a sun in its flag. In Heliopolis, Anu, there are 365 temples built to Sekhmet. In Antigua, there are 365 beaches, 365 per annum. The sun is specifically related to the number of 365. Antigua, like other countries has an abbreviation name or port abbreviation. Example, St. Kitts abbreviation is SKB. Jamaica is KIN. Puerto Rico, SJU. While Antigua's abbreviation is ANU. Anu, Sun City, City of the Priests, Heliopolis, Anu, ancient and modern. And again, I mean, it's undeniable. Symbol, the 365, plus their position on the geographical construct of the Almighty God. I mean, it is clear that there's some level of connection between Anu, Antigua, and Heliopolis. The science is there. And this is why now we have to highlight again Green Castlehill. Green Castlehill gives evidence, which I'm not going to go into now, that Antigua is the top of Atlantis, but it's in the book. It is in the book. Again, you see, this is the book still, Anu, Ancient and Modern. In this chapter, I go into Green Castlehill. I highlight the stela or the obelisk, which is, of course, the ancient symbol. The obelisk represents this. The obelisk was made from this. The obelisk was made from the phallic, because the phallic now is the symbol of Osiris again. Remember, it's Osiris' hidden penis that they couldn't find, that they erected the obelisk from. That's why there's one standing obelisk where? In Heliopolis. And you could see from an angle that the obelisk here in Antigua aligns, yes, aligns with the vulva that's down there, and they both align with the pyramids that's like between villages. That's a whole village between here, you know. You have Jennings going down to where Five Islands and Jolly Harbor, and these mountains in the distance look like the pyramids and align with this mountain, Green Castlehill, and its pivot point, which represents the phallic. So I'm showing you, family. As I said, all of this is in the book, Anu, Ancient and Modern. You could definitely purchase the book on Amazon, or better yet, you could get it from yours truly. And of course, that would be the better thing. And as I said, if you purchase the 3 books, man, we just give you a full month of the Shock of the Hour, plus what? Something else to get there. Oh, you get them for $50, really. That's really the plus, very, very important. Okay, so, yes. So basically, what I'm saying here now is that this is the destruction of the hill. This is the other side of the hill. Look at the destruction of the hill. This is where we show now, even this is a rock hill. Even over here, you could see some of the megaliths already coming up, but all of this was the hill. In the same way that you have this is one side of the hill, and that's the other side of the hill. This is the side that is being destroyed by the officials, as they call them. You see, my family, a lot of my loved ones, I mean you, I'm talking, my family that's listening. I know you sit and watch from a distance, and I know you appreciate the works that we're doing, but I don't think you fully understand what's going on here. Number one, all of these alignment stuff that you hear me talking about, this is ongoing work that we are doing. There's nobody funding this, This is a literal project that we of Rastafari Experience Antigua are doing. Even while I'm speaking to you, even while I'm speaking to you, there are courses that we are doing, to make sure we are certified in certain departments. Although we don't have the knowledge, but you know how the world runs. Plus, the same work that the doctors would have come, Dr. Mara Imbert, etc., would have come and done on the hill. We are the ones that are doing that right now. So when you hear me tell you about the phallic stone aligned with the vulva stone, it's not something that I've read. It's because I am observing the movements of the heavens. We made a new discovery just the other day. The transit of Sirius at a specific time of the day. Sirius, the star, the dark star Sirius, aligns with the throne. The throne that you see on the hill that we sit on aligns with Sirius every single day, depending on the time of the day. That is so important. Now, what I'm saying, the works that we are doing on Green Castlehill is equivalent to people that go to Egypt and be digging up things and say they're doing archaeological research. I'm trying to show you. People overlook what I'm doing because it's you know, they're like, yeah. And because you don't name doctor this, and because you don't name doctor that, and because you didn't go and um, to Oxford or Cambridge, well, it's all right. But of course, we have written material that nobody can even test when it comes to understanding the alignment of Greencastle Hill. In fact, let me be clear here. That is why I'm saying that we are even in the process of quote unquote certifying ourselves to certain degrees. So I'm just trying to show you, family, that this is a work in progress going on here in Antigua. So even when you hear us having our equinox and our solstices and these different things, although it would be good for your benefit to be a part of it, but when you actually be a part of that, what you are doing, you are assisting us in our work. You are assisting us, number one, in promoting Greencastle Hill, because you'll be surprised. But the actual dynamite blowing up of the hill has ceased for a while. There's still some tension there, but believe me, and it has a lot to do with us putting our foot in the door and the zeal that we have for Greencastle Hill for almost 2 decades now. This is not yesterday's work. It's years we on this, years from the first day I went up this hill up to now. We on this and we're not giving up. You understand? To the point now, we have reached to the point where we ourselves are doing the work of assessing the alignments of the hill. There's several alignments that I have already unraveled on Greencastle Hill, you know, more than Mara Imbert. We only quote Mara Imbert because some of you want to hear what the professionals say. Let's hear from the experts. Yeah, but when the experts now, that's why I know this about us, you know, we just want to hear what we want to hear. You know? But when the experts are people with paper, that's how we judge experts. And somebody that graduated from one of the universities that was built off of the back of slavery, we don't want to hear that part there. That's how we judge experts. But somebody that sit down and take the time and study for themselves and understand the heavens, that we do. We understand the heavens. We understand the movements of the stars. We understand the movements of the sun. We understand Greencastle Hill. We have been studying it for quite a while. So I'm telling you that the alignments of Greencastle Hill is more outstanding than the alignments of New Grinch and all of these other sites, megalithic sites that you have across the earth, because the alignment with Greencastle Hill is constant. It doesn't stop. There's always an alignment. The amount of megaliths that are there, the amount of dolmens that are there, the amount of standing stones and boulders that are there, the amount of vulvas and mini vulvas and their Stonehenges in Greencastle Hill too. It's not the Stonehenge. There are Stonehenges up there at Greencastle Hill as well. Greencastle Hill has natural sea notes, which are like caverns of water that are seen as stargates. All of that is of Greencastle Hill. You have sack bays, which are pathways from one sacred site to the other. All of these things are up on Greencastle Hill. And it's a natural megalithic site. Very, very, very few things you could point at up there that appears as if someone maybe have packed these stones together or whatever. But outside of that, it is just countless of megaliths protruding out of the earth, and they're destroying it. They're blowing it up. Well, as I said, they kind of see the blowing up, but trust me, you can't fall asleep on that. Believe me, because it takes a lot to even reach there. So, my brothers and sisters, there's a lot of politics around it too, that I wouldn't even nearly begin to talk about here. You know, I think you've heard enough from your brother, man, to even have faith in what we are doing. You don't expect me to tell you everything. You're supposed to be a part of the summer solstice. When you be a part of the summer solstice, you actually are assisting in the fight for Greencastle Hill. We have a what do you call it? We have a GoFundMe Greencastle Hill. We have the petitionsite.com, Green Castle Hill. Some people don't bother with none of that. Okay, it's up to you. But you, for your own good, man, you should be a part of the summer solstice. So we are selling you the summer solstice on one hand. Just give me a second, I'm going to sell you it now. But before I sell you the summer solstice, let me show you. The summer solstice that we are selling is not just the selling. It is a part of the work. And you being a part of this experience, whether you know it or not, will assist in the preservation and the development of Green Castle Hill. It's a place that needs to be developed. It's a place that needs to be taken care of. It's a place that needs millions of dollars in investment. You understand? It's a place that needs millions of dollars of investment just to handle the invasive species of lemongrass that's there. It takes millions, not just to handle the grass alone. I'm just saying, just to handle that is something. Plus the development that needs to take place there, and also the environment that will be created there, you know, from the management that we are putting into it. And I am telling you, we already have our foot in the door. We have one foot in there, man, believe me. But it's just there's a lot of politics behind of it. So that is why we're on it, even on the tourism level, on the spiritual level too, you know, because it's about the preservation level as well, and the educational level. We're writing books, creating websites and Facebook pages and radio programs just around Green Castle Hill. We have traveled different places on the planet just to sensitize people on Green Castle Hill, and places we have gone, people have followed us and come back here. So you don't even have to wait for the summer solstice, you know. And let me be clear, the borders of Antigua and Barbuda are open. Let me be clear, they are open. It's not as if they're not open. From our perspective, the freedom of the opening and the little protocols that are surrounded thereof is not clear enough for us. And I don't feel free enough to invite my people to just come for this event for maybe 5-7 days. And then there's a lot of different talk of quarantine, etc., etc. Believe me, I'm on the ground, so just take it from your brother. But again, feel free. You don't have to come for the solstice. You could come anytime you want. You don't have to wait on the equinox. You can come anytime you want. You just contact us and say, hey, I want to come. Even if you don't come for our package, I'm going to be in Antigua. I would like to come up Green Castle Hill. That's okay. Or I would like to come to Antigua for 3 days. Can you create a package for us? That's not a problem. We do all of that as well. But for the summer solstice, as I said, we're having a wonderful virtual experience. We're having the double hike, the morning hike to Green Castle Hill. So it will be going up the hill early, and you'll be seeing the coming of the sun. And, you know, we'll be showing you the different alignments that we're talking about. You know, this is a morning uprising hike, and you could see the sun coming over the top, aligning with the vulva there. You know, seeing the sun above the phallic in the same way that you see it above Antigua. You see the setting of the sun. Remember, we're going to have a sunset hike as well. Beautiful. That is the hike where the chief griot, which is Paddy the Griot Simon, he will be with us. He's our historian. He's going to definitely lay it on you good. Take it from me, as it relates to exactly what is taking place on Green Castle Hill and the history as far as he can carry you of Green Castle Hill. And remember, we're going to have the special marijuana cannabis tour. That is to the Rastafari community up at Ras Freeman, just like we did for the spring equinox. We're doing it again. This time is more ganja and more chalice burning, and we're definitely going to be having the live chalice talk. We may do the chalice talk on Green Castle Hill instead, but it doesn't make a difference. It's still going to be a grand event for the cannabis tour. We're definitely looking to have our brother Shango with us. He's a herbalist. Brother Shango, he's a herbalist. He's just as his name implies, Shango, he deals with the whole aspect of Yoruba and so many different things. So we are hoping to have him with us That is something I just have to verify, but all is well. And remember, hey, this whole event is only $100, eh? Only $100 for the virtual summer solstice. And remember, this is 2 hikes. Remember, you're at home, eh? Let me make it clear, you're at home. You're sitting and watching us, just like you see the TV here, you see the tablet here, you see the phone here. So you are at home watching us. You get me? We're going up the hike. We'll be reasoning to you. You're going to get the lecture. You're going to see everything that we're seeing. The same thing with the afternoon hike. We're going up, we're going to have a bigger crowd on the afternoon. Eh? That's the afternoon where we're going to have the Nyabingi drumming and all of these different things. That's going to be like a festive event, and you're going to watch the sunset behind those same pyramid-looking mountains. Then now, even before those 2 hikes, we're going to have the cannabis tour. And again, those who were with us for the previous tour, I'm sure you could remember all what you saw. Some of those little plants, they're big plants now. Some of them big plants, we're going to be burning them, and you're going to see them. And everything, you're going to see the industry taking place right here in Antigua as it relates to the cannabis. And of course, you don't want to miss the chalice talk. So this is going to be wonderful. And remember, tonight, which is the 7th, Monday the 7th, tonight is the last chance you have to get your ticket for only $85. Now, we've been saying that for a while, so please don't be telling me, oh man, no, please, now you're telling me. No, I'm telling you, now you're here. But the full package is only 100. 100 is good, my brother and sister. That's good, man. 3 days you're going to be with us. You know? Every day you get the link, and you just come in, and each event is like 2.5 hours. A hike ain't going to be 50 minutes, eh? 2.5 hours the morning, 2.5 hours the afternoon, 2.5 hours for the ganja tour, the chalice talk, all the elders reason to you, Nyabingi. That's just $100. That's a little bit for all of that, my family. So I'm looking forward to all of you. I mean, if you catch me tonight, if you send the money cash up tonight, where's the cash up thing on here? If you send the money cash up tonight at and Ra, well, of course, the cash up will be in the description below, which is Atonra 2723, ATON RA 2723. Of course, if you don't use Cash App, just tell me, and we'll find another way to get the finance through. And even if you don't send it tonight, once you contact me, and we see you contact me tonight and say, hey, I want that $85 ticket, but I don't have the Cash App to send it tonight, don't worry, you still get it for $85 because you contact I tonight for sure. All right, give thanks. But again, if you miss it for the 7th, man, the 7th of June was that so-called deadline. If you miss it for the 7th of June, $100 for this package is still good, my family. It's still good. And as I said, if you really love the work that we do, because I mean, I'm very serious, you know, talk is nice, but action is better. If you really love the works that we do, you would definitely be not asking for no donation, but you can if you want. You would definitely get your ticket for this year's summer solstice virtual experience. All right, give thanks. And hey, let me just say, for those who are members of the Shock of the Hour subscription team, well, because the summer solstice is not the summer solstice is not is affiliated with Rastafari Experience Antigua, so it's like a next company altogether. So my subscribers for the Shock of the Hour, they don't necessarily get a free pass to this, but we have a special for all of our subscribers. So all the subscribers definitely who definitely is going to be on board with us for the winter solstice, you as well, or the summer solstice, pardon me, you as well, you only pay $85. Those are my subscribers, you only pay $85. Whether it's the 7th of June, or even if you pay the very day when the event is going to start, for the subscribers of the Shock of the Hour, it's only $85. So once you're a subscriber, even if you're subscribed today, remember the subscription is $50 a month. So even if you subscribe today, you still get your ticket for $85. It's up to you, definitely. So hey, a lot of things going on. As you can see, your brother is here to to offer you many good things. It's just up to you to know exactly what you need. All right, definitely give thanks. Don't forget the young ones now. Make sure they're well versed in astronomy and the African history and heritage. Give thanks for the love. And give thanks for your presence with us. And of course, make sure you get your chalice as well. You don't know, that's very important with all of these levels that we are going on to. Life giver and the keeper of life. All right, wonderful. I hope it was good. You could give me a review. Heliopolis the ancient, Anu the modern, Holy Manuelai, Selassie, Jah Rastafari, blessed love.